We are Petra and Kat. Come along as we share travel tips and discover new and unforgettable destinations. From hidden gems to popular landmarks, we hope our travel tales will inspire you to embark on your own adventures.
Welcome to the channel. Is this where you say double tap?
It is. And
Is
of
it
Columbus.
I think it's Columbus. Hi, welcome to the channel.
I'm Petra.
I'm Kat.
And today we're going to talk about fun and free, or nearly free things to do in New York City. Let's talk about getting around New York City. Walking in the city, that is free.
We did a lot of walking.
We did a lot of walking. But you can't always walk everywhere. So there's always the subway. And for a lot of people who haven't lived in a big city, the subway feels intimidating. Let's start by saying it's not.
It really isn't. And once you get used to it, you'll find that it's very delightful and a lot of fun.
It is. And easy. If you have Apple Maps or Google Maps on your phone, the app will literally tell you what train to take, which way to take it, how many stops it is, which transfer to make. Each ride is $2.90, at least at the time of this tape. But the best thing that we can suggest is that you get the Omni in your wallet on your phone, because then you just tap your phone, it takes out the money. And in a 7-day period, as soon as you paid for 12 rides, the rest are free.
The rest are free, and then you can go on a lot more rides.
True. And if you happen to go the wrong way, it doesn't matter so much that you have to pay to come back, because it's free. Every New Yorker seems to avoid Times Square, except if they're going to the theater. And we are theater buffs, and those can get costly. We actually have a whole video about how to get inexpensive or less expensive tickets to Broadway shows. But that is just one draw of Times Square, and I think every tourist should visit it at least once. The nighttime lights are gorgeous and awe-inspiring. And I always used to worry that I looked like a tourist because I was taking pictures, but then I realized tourists are the only people who go there.
Well, there's some New Yorkers there because there's a lot of people that work in Times Square. But the one thing I noticed is there's a lot of really cool places to eat, like little off-the-wall places, little pizza places, and things like that always run really good specials, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. You can do the expensive places, but if you want to get an easy, quick bite, we have a couple of recommendations.
Okay, which is your favorite?
Carved pizza. It looks like a little hole in the wall, and in fact, most of the best restaurants do look like holes in the wall. There are actually two locations. One is at 8th and 47th, and one is at 8th and 45th. Those are both really great. They do crazy good pizza, $6 a slice, and doesn't matter what's on it. And then they have really good bakery items and salads and all kinds of other things.
Yeah, lots of good stuff there.
What
about the empanada place, though? That was good too.
Mama Empanada. Thanks. Shout out to Kyla for that recommendation. We went to the one on 51st and 9th, which is technically Hell's Kitchen, but there is one just not too far from Times Square, which was, I think, 40th and 7th.
Something like that.
Yeah. Those are great places to eat. There's other things that you can do in Times Square. I will say, watch out for the street performers that are dressed up like characters, and they want you to pay them to take a picture. Mm-hmm. There are caricature guys, there's street performers, there's musicians, there's gymnastics and breakdancing. And of course, you can window shop at all the iconic stores, M&M store, Hershey.
You'll find these off-the-wall artists that tend to bring their artwork or do some of their artwork in the streets, and they're fun to find, and sometimes you can get a really good bargain.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now, we were talking about the Mama Empanada at Hell's Kitchen. That is 1 block away from another thing that we went to, which is not technically in Times Square, and that was a taping of Stephen Colbert. We got tickets to that show, and that, like many other talk shows, are free. So Seth Meyers,
The View, Daily Show.
The best way to get tickets are at oneiota.com. We'll put the link in the description. You can register and then apply for tickets for a specific show. And usually a couple of days later, they'll tell you whether or not you have tickets, whether you're on the waiting list or if it's sold out. You don't pay for tickets. You can get 1, 2, and sometimes 3 tickets depending on the show.
$0.
And they don't cost a thing. But a ticket does not mean you actually automatically get in.
Oh yeah, you have to stand in line when they tell you to stand in line.
Oh yeah,
Correct.
get there early, stand in line, be prepared to wait. There's a lot of waiting inside the building, outside the building, before the show, during the show.
But it's a lot of fun. If you've never seen a taping of any sort of show, I would definitely try. I would sign up for all of them and see which one you get tickets for, and just make it an experience that you'll never forget.
Yeah, but it is fun. It takes probably exactly the time of the show to tape the show. Like they stop for the commercial time, but you have to get there so early, and then dress in layers because the studios are freezing and you will be cold and miserable.
No, you won't be miserable.
You'll be
because
miserable
you're going to
because
be
you're cold.
seeing a really cool show
This is true.
and seeing how they're taping a show. But I do recommend making sure you go to the bathroom once, twice, maybe 3 times before you stand in line, and depending on your age. And then I would make sure you eat something before, even if you grab food and then get in line.
Yeah.
I think so, because once you're inside, and there's nothing in there to eat or do.
Correct.
Right? One thing I want to talk about, and this is something I have not seen finished, it's the first time I've seen it finished, is the Oculus. This is considered the transportation hub of the World Trade Center because the Oculus is the hub for 12 subway lines plus a PATH station, as well as stores and restaurants that serve over 1 million people every week. The architecture is unbelievable. Didn't you find it just unbelievably fascinating?
It was gorgeous. I actually looked it up, and this is from their website. It's in alignment with the sun's solar angles on each of 8:46 when the first plane struck and 10:28 when the second tower collapsed. Its central skylight fits this alignment and washes the Oculus with a beam of light. It's beautiful. I wish I had known that before I'd seen that.
I know, because it was very interesting when you were inside of it, because you could tell that the whole building was designed a certain way to make you have feelings when you're in there, don't you think?
And it really did. It was almost overwhelming, but it got me the same way the 9/11 memorial got me, which is our next on the list of free things to do in New York.
It's amazing to see. I think every American needs to see the 9/11 memorial. Now, if you go to the museum does have a fee, but I just think that it's worth the amount of money that they charge to go in. You can take as much time as you want. It's helpful to get the tickets, and you can predict the time that you're going to be there, because you don't want to be there with a lot of people. They try to spread it out as much as possible so you can have your time to do what you want in the museum. But for the memorial itself, there's just so much to see. And I've seen it probably 4 or 5 times now, and it's interesting to see how much it's changed and developed.
The reflecting pools, which are the squares that show the footprint of where the 2 towers were that collapsed, just those by themselves can be a little bit overwhelming. The first time we went, and we did pay to go into the museum, I started crying at the reflecting pools.
On birthdays and anniversaries, they put the white roses onto the names of those that we have lost, and it always is incredibly moving. And for me, who really remembers everything from that day, I really loved Trinity Church because it was so significant to everything. It was a hub for people when they were looking for people, and I tend to like cemeteries for some reason, and that is a place where Alexander Hamilton is buried, and Eliza, his wife, and her sister. So to walk through that little bit of a graveyard and see that iconic church, which is only just steps away from, it's a couple blocks, but very easy to get to very quickly, I think it's just a must-see.
So number 5 on the list is the New York City Public Library. Now, the library system has many branches, but the main attraction is the Stephen Schwarzman Building, which opened in 1911.
Yeah, the building is crazy. We walked by it so many times, but have never walked inside of it, and it was pretty incredible.
And it's free. You go in the building on 5th Avenue.
You don't even realize just how large it is until you're inside of it. It's really a beautiful building. I could have spent the entire day there.
There's some rooms that are set up as reading rooms where you just take a book in and you sit and read, but all around the room are these photographs or artistry that has been created by somebody that has some significance to the building or the city. If you stopped to read it all, it would take you several days, I think.
Yeah.
But most of the library is free to tour, but there are some areas where you need a ticket, and it's best to get those in advance if you do want to do those extra things.
My favorite thing is Central Park. It's 843 acres of just unbelievable things to do. They just opened a brand new pool there that can actually hold 1,400 people. It was for me just an iconic place to go to walk and just very peaceful. It's really fun to watch all the dogs and the kids know what to do with their little scooters and stuff. It was very fun.
It was. There's so many places to go in Central Park. I think you could go there every day for 15 days and still not see it all.
Mm-hmm.
Many of those things are free. You can go to the zoo, you can go to the pool, and a couple of other things that have a fee, but there's so much to do for free. Our favorite thing, I think, was to walk the Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis Reservoir, which
it was
I think
cool.
was 2.2 miles all the way around.
Yeah,
I'll check it.
Yeah,
Put it
was pretty neat, and you know, this is where all the water was being stored years ago, and it still has the brick buildings of how it was taken care of, and explains how the water was held there so many years ago, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. So there's those. You can go to Strawberry Fields, which is a tribute to John Lennon. You can do a picnic on the lawn at Sheep Meadow, which is the sort of iconic one where people are having picnics in all those movies. So there's different events that happen there all the time, including concerts. There's Shakespeare in the Park. Many of those things are free, so always check the calendar when you're ready to go.
I have to tell you, do you know what one of my favorite things was?
What?
There are tributes to all sorts of people, but you can get a name plate for the back of a bench, and you can put it in tribute to someone that loved the park on one of the benches. And I've never seen so many benches in my life as I have seen in this park. And that was cool.
I will get you a bench one day.
Oh, good. Yay. Yay. Yeah. Can it have sparkles?
Always.
Yes.
All right, moving on to number 7, Dumbo, not the elephant. Dumbo stands for a collection of different things, but the collective agreement is down under Manhattan and Brooklyn overpasses.
Absolutely. It's the first time I've ever brought Petra there. I've been to Dumbo many times. And the one thing is just so iconic to just see Manhattan from the other side of the Hudson River. It was pouring rain, remember? And we still, with the carousel and everything, we could be right on the shoreline and take pictures. It was gorgeous.
Yeah, we went to a place called Time Out Market, which has over 20 restaurants and bars in one space. And then there's arts, and there's gorgeous rooftop view. And even in the pouring rain, it was stunning. And when we were there, there were artisans who had booths, and I don't know if that's something that happens all the time. I don't know. It seemed like they were there regularly, but I don't know how often. But on the main floor, they were there, and then they have music events in the evenings, and art installations everywhere.
And there's that little spot in Dumbo where you can take a picture and see, you know, most of Manhattan.
And as long as we're talking about eating and doing things that are nearly free, one of the places that we found that we really loved was a restaurant called El Coco.
Oh, we loved El Coco.
There are a couple of them, but we went back to the same one a couple times. $5 margaritas in New York City, and really good food.
Good food.
Shout out to El Coco.
Definitely.
We had fun. So those are 7 fun and free or nearly free things to do in New York. Stay tuned, like, subscribe, all that jazz, and check back for our next video. Let's talk about getting around New York City, because that isn't free. You can walk. Walking is free, but
my nose itches. I'm sorry. Is that going to be a problem during this series of vacation trips that we're doing?